Hi everyone, I am here today with a poem. Before we get started in that, I just wanted to say that I do apologize for being not as active on my YouTube. Unfortunately, I am very busy right now with classes and other things and just real life. And I know that's not an excuse, but in just a couple weeks, I'll definitely have a lot more free time to kind of devote to this and just gonna add stuff and analyze myself and what kind of content I'm creating. So if y'all have any advice or anything that y'all want from me or want to hear or any types of videos, please feel free to comment, even if it has nothing to do with poetry. I would just be interested to hear. I think, it's important to get feedback, or even if y'all want to know questions about me, hopefully hopefully not, but I mean, I don't mind. I'm such an open book, so yeah. But besides that, just wanted to put that out there. So now we can go ahead and get into the poem. So this week we are analyzing the poet Ocean Vuong. The poem that I'm gonna read today is similar but different to the last one that I read. The title of it is Devotion. So let's get into it and then we can chat about it. Instead, the year begins with my knees scraping hardwood, another man leaving into my throat. Fresh snow crackling on the window, each flake a letter from the alphabet. I've shut out for good because the difference between prayer and mercy is how you move the tongue. I press mine to the navel's familiar war, molasses threads descending towards devotion. And there's nothing more holy than holding a man's heartbeat between your teeth, sharpened with too much air. This mouth the last entry into January, silent with fresh snow crackling on the window. And so what if my feathers are burning? I never asked for flight, only to feel. This fully, this entire, the way snow touches bare-skinned and is suddenly snow no longer. I just want to say I really like how it's written. It forces you to kind of pause. It's kind of staggered if you want to see in detail how it is. It's staggered, so each sentence is broken into a series of words. I feel like that really takes time for you to take in each particular word used in this poem, which I personally love. Another thing I really like is how it talks about snow and how it kind of correlates to, going into the new year and talking about just the things you go through and the devotion it takes to push forward and move forward, even with familiarity and unfamiliarity. So yeah, again, I think his poetry is very beautiful. I think it's very powerful with simplistic words, which I enjoy because some of the poems I read, it takes me a while to kind of process, and sometimes I wish I would take a couple days because at the moment I don't understand it and then it'll just click to me. I don't know if that happens to anyone else, but whenever I read something that has layers and is very in-depth and very intellectual, it does take time for me to analyze it. And not that this is not intellectual, but it definitely is more of a softer, easier read, and it's easier for me to digest. So yeah, the last portion, when it's like, this mouth, the last entry into January, silence with fresh snow crackling on the window. And so what if my feathers are burning? So I feel like it's kind of like that last kind of edge where it's like, wow, you feel like everything's just like falling apart or kicking you and you're still persevering, but then all of a sudden it disappears, which is correlation to the snow melting on your skin because it no longer exists. And anything, your reality is your own reality. You can choose what exists and what doesn't. Like, I know that sounds very weird, but it's very true. Like, if one day I was like, cats don't exist to me, in my own head, in my reality, if I truly believe that, then it's true, which is weird because obviously if I see a cat, I'm like, oh, that's a cat. But you know what I mean? You can kind of erase things surrounding your life. So if something doesn't serve you or you just don't enjoy something, you can essentially remove it and it doesn't have to exist for you. So if you're dealing with problems and it just keeps facing you face every day and you're just like, I don't want these problems anymore, just erase them. And of course it's a lot easier said than done, and there's many steps and many inner workings that create that new reality. But again, it's not impossible, and I feel like with my own personal life, I'm just shedding all the things that are holding me back, and a lot of things are mental. I deal with a lot of just mental stuff, mental blockages with my own self, and just trying to reset and reprogram my brain to essentially erase those things and make them non-existent has been very tough. These past couple of months I've been very tired. My body's exhausted, my mind's exhausted. I feel overwhelmed a lot, but at the end of the day, when I feel reset and when I do take time to really like think about it, I'm like, wow, like that is gone, like it doesn't exist. And then I kind of feel just lighter, I feel different, and I'm sure I look the same and feel the same, but to people that I haven't seen in a couple months or a year or family, they notice the difference and they're like, hey, like, you should be proud of this, or, you've changed and you see things differently, and the way that you look at life is beautiful. And I appreciate that because, again, like, I'm feeling these intense changes, every single day. And it's like when someone outside notices that, it's like, okay, like what I'm doing it matters and people notice. And not that I'm doing it for anyone else, but it does make me feel good in the fact that people can sense that. And it's a lot, again, with the mind. It has nothing to do with appearance, but at the end of the day, what goes on in your mind does reflect outwardly, and I think that's important, and people don't take that serious. I don't know, I feel like people think like, oh, if I cut my hair, if I do my makeup better, if I work out, like everything's gonna be better. And that's not the case. It's always within, and the outside's just a reflection. So I just, wow, poems bringing a lot of deep talk, at least for me. And maybe I'm just talking to myself. I feel like I'm talking to myself most of the time. Like I'm literally talking into a mirror, and I might look back on this and be like, wow, like I shouldn't have said that, or what you were saying resonates exactly. So it's just very interesting, and I enjoy doing these little entries or journals or whatever you want to call them. It's kind of like little homework assignments. And again, even though I'm not as persistent, or I am persistent, I post 3 videos a week, but sometimes I take a week off or I take a break, I still try to hold myself accountable because this is something that I enjoy and is important to me, and I've made it a point in my life to make it a priority. So taking that extra time out of my day to sit down and read and think and just be present, be present, and just just look at things and forget about the world, even if it's just for a brief second. It's so nice. It's so nice. So yeah, this is the poem for today, and I'm gonna go ahead and do another one tomorrow to finish the week. I'm not sure what poem I'm gonna do from him, but I am very intrigued with this poet and very amazed, and I hope one day someone reads a poem that I wrote. And I have many, but they're just thoughts right now, or not thoughts, they're memories and thoughts together. So yeah, but y'all take care, have a good rest of your evening. Bye.